Thanks everybody for coming. We are Action Figure Junkies. We are a website and a Facebook group. Facebook group is the biggest thing that we do. We are 41,000 strong in the closed group. Give you a little background. Action Figure Junkies was started by Jarrett Cruz a few years ago. He was a collector, and he got into an incident, got into a car accident, and while he was laid up in the hospital bed, he was like, let me start a group online, and maybe 300 of my friends will get involved. At some point, it went from 300 to 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000, just continued to grow. I had a similar thing where my back was injured and I was home a lot and was on Facebook more than I've ever been, and I ran into this group that was Action Figure Junkies. I'm a giant action figure collector. And so I got involved and I reached out to Jarrett and said, hey, if I could ever help with anything, you let me know. He came over to where I work, and before you knew it, we were partners in this thing. Unfortunately, in the beginning of this year, Jarrett passed away. And so we've kind of all taken the torch and ran with it. So since the first of the year, we're now at 41,000 people. We're working on growing all the different social media accounts. Like we said, Facebook is our biggest thing. The Facebook group itself has about 500,000 or more interactions on a monthly basis. One of the things that we can tout pretty heavily about our Facebook group is that out of the 41,000 members that we have, over about 85% of them are active every single day in the page. And that's on, logged in, commenting, liking, or doing something along those lines. There's so many posts per hour that when we put our own content up, it's buried because people all day long, especially the collectors, are out. They're at Walmart, they're at Target, and they're taking pictures of things that they like and posting them for either, hey, I saw this really cool thing, I didn't know it was out yet, or hey, is somebody looking for this? And I think that kind of leads me into the, really what the heart of this is. So I'll take a step back. I met Bob through Jarrett, who founded it. Bob was writing for the website at the time. I was fortunate enough to bring Bob on to come work with me and work on the website. And Evan, kind of, again, family, friends, were able to get started. And we really had no intention, 6 months ago, of doing as much of this like in front stuff as we had to do, but with Jarrett passing away, we've kind of stepped up and been doing as much as we can. And so now we average about 3 Facebook Lives a week.
Yeah, a week about.
And we try to do something a little bit different than what everybody's doing, and not just like from the YouTube perspective of doing live unboxings, where if it's something you really want, as we're opening it, you can ask questions, and that's one. We try to communicate with the people as much as possible. Hey, can you show me his ankle pivot? And we're there for that. But the real heart of this when it got started was just, hey, let me get a couple hundred of my friends to talk about collecting, and that's really what we keep true in this as we go along. So we're a group that doesn't allow cursing, which makes a lot of people upset. And believe me, in my real life, I curse like a sailor, but for the page, we keep it PG. No bullying, no trolling. You do any of that, you're out.
We kick people out for spoilers as well. We've said you can't say spoilers on the page for a week. We've kicked dozens of people out.
When you have big things like the Avengers, those kind of movies, we try to keep it that everybody is happy when they come onto the page, not like, oh, I'm leaving for the next 2 weeks because the Avengers movies come out, people are going to ruin everything, and I can't see it because I have 2 kids. So it's one of those things where we try to keep it a very family, fun, place that you want to come and visit, where so much on Facebook you really don't want to just interact with anymore.
And that's really what it's about, because we find this out more and more because more and more people reach out to us. But the collecting field a lot of people don't understand what we do. They walk into your house and they see a wall full of action figures, and a lot of people just don't get that. And they have a comment, it's a doll, it's a this or it's a that. And that's what we're trying to kind of squash out on the site, which is like, hey, we're all into this. It might be weird by some people's standards, but it's not to us. We dig it. We talk at length about, Star Wars action figures for hours sometimes. And if you catch us on our Facebook Live, be prepared. Go ahead. Well, so for like specific for that, I'm not sure if there is a group, but there's the great thing about Facebook is, yeah, exactly. You can start one yourself, and then you can go as far as come into our group, take the pictures from your mom, post it, because we respect everything, and you'll get a lot of great feedback, and put admin approved and share the group in there. And you'll all of a sudden you'll be meeting people and talking to people that share this passion with you, and it's
and
fun.
there are collectors that collect different things. Like you'll get a Star Wars guy who also has a friend or a mom or a wife or something who collects something totally different, and all of a sudden you're able to reach out into that other group and say, hey, this group here, I found them, and then there's all these other people of this niche group in a bigger group. So like we have wrestling fans, and the three of us really don't know how to deal with the wrestling figure. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. Yeah.
Join the group, and then you can just put it out there and just ask. And then there'll probably be 3 or 4 people that'll comment and say, oh yeah, I'm in the teddy bear group. It's over here. It's a really nice group. Or stay away from this one. They're crazy. It's a little.
That's what we had a while ago with the whole Muckman craze. It was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure, and everybody on the page didn't realize how many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans there were on the page, because they hadn't spoken out before. But once this blew up,
yeah,
everybody found all these people that they had a common collection.
Yeah, so it does happen. Yeah,
and we're lucky because I collect stuff differently than Bob and Evan, so we're well-rounded when we go out, because we shoot hunt videos where we go to comic book stores. Unfortunately, Toys R Us no longer here for us to go to, but it's nice because then we don't have to fight each other.
Right, we don't compete against each other.
Yeah, like nice. Running in the store and no, that's mine.
Yeah.
But at 41,000, continuing to grow, we're trying to capture the news in the industry just a little bit different. We put up the press releases like everybody else, but if something happens and consumers want to be heard, that's where we kind of have the voice of the collecting community that we can voice their opinions. There was, if you're a collector, there was a big incident with the Comic-Con exclusive figures are always hot and popular. People want them because they're exclusive, and a lot of people just know that they can make money off of them. And I think we'll talk about scalping a little bit later and how we try to curb that. But so NECA put up their pre-sale, everything sold out in 2 minutes, and people were completely irate about it. I didn't get one. Limit 2 per customer. Why would they do that? So on and so forth. So we took the questions that our community was asking. We reached out to NECA, and NECA responded and gave some thorough answers to what people's problems were, and we were able to get it back out to the community. And it was, for us, we were just so excited because it was a real opportunity for us to say, hey, we love the fact that we've got this group, but being able to get your guys' voices heard by the companies that you're buying from it's a powerful tool. And I think a lot of people were helped. People were still mad and in all good rights, people are always going to be. But I think a lot of people walked away from it understanding a little bit more about how their systems work. And if you ever catch one of our lives or follow us on the YouTube page, you'll hear a little bit different of a perspective because our backgrounds are in marketing and fulfillment. So we have a little bit of knowledge about distribution that we can kind of bring. So when people can't understand why they don't get their toy on the West Coast or why it takes so long to get a toy after it's been released, we've got a little bit of background that we can say, hey, it's shipping from overseas, it's got to come in, it's got to get processed, they need to go out. And especially in today's current environment where more and more people aren't buying in the brick and mortar stores any longer, they're moving to online. Because of that kind of e-commerce fulfillment, we can answer a lot of questions and we can, make some suggestions on what's the best way to go about buying online. Because we hear it almost daily on the site. Hey, I bought this great thing on Amazon. It was $19. It's the cheapest I could find anywhere. And then it showed up, but they put it in a bubble mailer and it was cracked the all hell. And that's going to be the problem that you face.
What was it, the do-back the other day?
Yeah, we had
two guys got one in Arkansas, one in Alabama.
It was Kentucky, and I forget, maybe it would have been Alabama, but it was the exact same Star Wars toy. One was perfectly boxed, wrapped in bubble, and the other one had a shipping sticker on it. And you're like, how can that come from the same company? But they're two different fulfillment centers. So you have one guy who's probably ready, done for the day, puts a sticker on, make sure that it gets out the door, and the other guy probably woke up that morning, was all, thrilled to be working, and wrapped the thing properly. So that's an issue that we're trying to address and trying to get people like Amazon to hear us by saying, hey, we're your market, we're the people that are going to spend $20 to $30 on a piece of plastic that looks like a giant lizard. We'd like to have it in the box that it comes in without stickers all over it. So, one other thing. And another thing that MJ mentioned that we did with the NECA thing, when we got our questions, MJ also did a full walkthrough of, if you really want this exclusive, the day before, these are all the things you should do on the site, and then empty your basket. So you're already, I've got my address in, I've got my PayPal information in. People don't think of those things, and then they wonder why, well, I was filling out all my information and then my basket was empty when it was done. Well, it's because you waited till the last minute to try to buy something. And you have to, a lot of the community doesn't understand that. They think once it's in there, oh, I'm good. No, you're not good. No, you're not.
Well, and we talked about this a lot more recently, which is that these conventions have changed over the years. If you went to one of these in the 90s and wanted to buy a Toy Fair exclusive, it was a lot easier than, even 5 years ago. And especially with the exclusives being limited run and something that has a potential to be turned for 50 or 100% of its value in profit, people are going to go after it. So just like if you want to get tickets to Comic-Con or if you want to get that autograph from your favorite person, you got to get there early. You got to know the little kind of tips and tricks on how to do it. And since this is what we do, it's a little bit easier for us. So we always try to tell you, if you can, hey, here's some tips. We talk about it a lot with selling, how to buy and sell in a world where there's less regulation than if you go to a brick and mortar, because you're not buying from Walmart.com. You might just be buying from Evan online. And so people are outraged when they get ripped off, it's not packaged right, or they make the mistake, which is they use PayPal friends and family. If it's not your friends and family, don't use friends and family. And even if it is your friends and family, we all have that family member. You know what I mean? So you got to remember, it's worth paying the 3% as an insurance policy. When you ship something expensive and you're worried about making sure it's not there, pay the 3%. Even if the buyer's not interested in taking it out of their end, what I do is I go online, I use the PayPal calculator, I put the price in. So if we agreed on $20 and he wants it as friends and family, I send him the 20 plus exactly what it would cost, so he still gets his same amount, and now I'm covered. Because if I get ripped off, I go to PayPal, they pay me back. But as stuff goes along, people get smart, so they know, okay, PayPal can give them their money back. So what do? Oh, it got there damaged, or I didn't get sent what I was supposed to. So on the other end, someone buys something from you, and then what ends up happening is PayPal sides with them, gives them their money back, and they end up keeping your figure that you sent them. So what we always advocate is go, when you're packaging, literally take a video of you putting it in the box. And so when it shows up and they say, oh, it wasn't in there. Okay, well, you submit that video to PayPal, you're going to win every single time. And it's those little things that we've picked up as being, the curators of this community, that we try to pass on as much as we can. And we always advocate, if you have a question, ask the group. Because with 40,000 people, somebody has an answer for you. They have something that they can come back and say. And one of the ones that we get a kick out of all the time that happens is, hey, I got this figure at a flea market. What is it? And there's always like the guy that is like, well, that's it's the Power Rangers, so-and-so figure. I can't believe you didn't know that. Can't you go to Google? No. What are you going to go to Google and type in red robot? Like, it doesn't work. Even if you know the year and the date, you're still not going to come up with an answer. So that's what our community is here for, is helping you out if you're a collector and you just got started, or if you've been collecting your whole life. Here's a place where you might learn something new, or you might be able to help out somebody that doesn't know.
Or you could just have fun with it too. Some people put up pictures saying, well, who's this figure, but only joke answers.
They give me the wrong answer.
Yeah. Don't tell them what it is, just make something up. Those are fun.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you prefer buying offline, or would you rather go to like a local business and buy from them?
So that's a hard. It's always a hard one for me. I would love to just go and shop in stores, because as a business owner myself, I like to support other businesses. And also, especially when you're in like the collecting field, like it's like, okay, do I go to buy a blanket or do I buy it online? Okay, it might be easier, but when you actually go to a local comic book shop or a toy store or one of these, you're gonna have a good time, because you went to go buy whatever the new thing is, but you got to see a bunch of different stuff that you didn't always see. And I don't think I've ever been to a comic book shop or a toy store and not walked away with having a conversation with the person who worked there for at least 10 minutes longer than I should have. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would always support it. But the other end of that is that if you're budget focused, and a lot of people have action figure budgets or collecting budgets, like this year this is how much I'm going to spend on my cons, this is what I'm going to spend on this and that, knowing that you can save 10-15% or more by buying online, it's hard to pass up. And as technology advances and it's easier to do so, and more people can open up their own toy website, I think that's where the focus is going to go to. And with like the Walmarts, the Targets, the other companies that are still carrying toys in their stores, with Toys R Us going out of business, the first thing you would assume would be, okay, they know that, hey, this market's now opening. We need to focus a little bit more. We need to expand our toy departments or put someone in the department that actually knows what they're doing. But that doesn't seem to happen. So other than saying, hey, go support your local comic book shop and toy store, because guys, if we don't, they're going to all go out of business. And they've been going out of business like crazy over the last 5 years because of the online. If it's not that thing where you're going to grab it at your local store, you could go to Walmart, you might find it there, but sometimes it's just better to go online. And that's the other good thing about what we do at Action Figure Junkies. With 40,000 people and the fact that some toys hit in different states before they hit, you can just say, hey guys, I'm looking for this, I really need it, I'm willing to pay $5 over retail, and you'll see 10 or 15 comments. I saw that at my Walmart today. I'm going to be back tomorrow. Would you like me to grab it for you? So it's just helping each other out. And then there's people that are like, hey, I'm going to be at Walmart for the next 10 minutes. Does anybody need anything on the shelves? You got anything?
I was going to say one point towards buying things at a local store as opposed to on Amazon is that if you look at some of our videos on Instagram and YouTube, you'll see that a lot of the time that we go into Toys R Us, you'll see action figures where their eyes are crossed and they look like they got kicked in the head. So buying that on Amazon, you won't know until you get it whether it's messed up or not. So being able to go into a store and seeing that everything's right with the figure and the paint application, it's worthwhile.
Yes.
Oh no, but
oh yeah, there are times where you're just like, I gotta have that weird.
Oh,
because
yeah.
It's got something wrong with it.
the weirder the better. So, like,
Yeah.
there's the stuff that we'll buy, you have no idea.
I gotta head out, guys.
Thanks so much, man.
The Disney store is actually online is very good because if it shows up and it's damaged, you send them a picture and you can keep the damaged one and they'll send you a new one. They're very, like, they need that picture, but they're very good with making, yeah, it's Disney. They're very good with making sure you're happy. And it's not like Disney doesn't have the money. Yes, in the back, in the Yankees.
Yeah, just to add another point is online versus order conversation. So sometimes you just can find it, and the only option is Amazon.
Very true.
It might be Amazon, or it might be any of a variety of vendors. So I'm a big fan of Walmart. Terracons just not available.
Yeah.
Time. Guess what? Big bag.
Yep.
I saw a post recently that was going to show up. But too late. I already put all the big bag.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So I find that happens not often. But I'd like to. I mean, I'd like to go to Target. I have a few Target things. It's easy. It'll take 5 minutes to the store. Things.
You go to the toys first, though, right?
Oh, you have to go to the toys first.
Just making sure.
Well, the grocery area is on the way, so I
Right.
have to make like
Exactly. I know.
But the 9 out of 10 is what? I already have what I needed and wanted.
I'm working on a piece right now that we hope to send out to a lot of different toy companies about what do we do in a post-TRU world. And Evan and I were doing research yesterday, and we could get all the Marvel Legends on Entertainment Earth for the X-Men wave. We get them all and pre-order them, $160. We went to the Hasbro toy shop. Every single one was sold out. So how can the manufacturer not give us what we want? But I can go to a secondary store and pay him, that other company, more money? It doesn't make any sense. So, and Hasbro, again, Transformers.
So, and I don't know if New York in particular is competitive market. Like, it feels, I'm not going out of my way to buy these things. I'm not there at 6, 7 o'clock a day. Because, I work.
Yeah, you're a person.
Yeah.
You have a job.
So by the time I get there, you can tell the rubbish.
Yeah.
And, maybe there was one case of this they put out, I don't know.
Right.
Well, you're competing with people that most likely know what day the truck arrives at the store. They know the person that works in the department, and they know when it's going to get put out on the shelves. And, some people are getting smart to that. Like, I don't like to give Target a lot of credit because they keep stuff on the shelves way longer than they should, and then their clearance model's really wonky. But they're starting to actually limit the amount of certain items people can buy to stop people from scalping because they know it's a real thing.
They used to hole punch them, like right through the car.
Oh, wow.
And just say, oh yeah, you're a collector, and then they you'd have to buy the one that was already damaged, and that was not good. That was not a good thing.
That sounded really violent before you said you did anything to a card or something.
Yeah.
Like they punched a hole in it.
Yeah.
I was actually scared.
No, but that's kind of the scalping portion that we don't allow it. And so after 90 days of a new figure coming out, we'll let the market dictate the value. But if it's something that's hot, that just hit the shelves, and people want it, you cannot come into our group and take a $20 figure and try to sell it for $60, $80, or $100, because you're going to get booted immediately. Well, first about 20 people are going to call you a scalper, and then by the time we
And then
by the time we catch
2
it,
days later, somebody will tell us, and then we'll.
yeah.
I can tell you how many times I went with Jared's dad. But I can't tell you how many times Jared and I used to go to Closure Rush and Target and some of the other brick-and-mortar stores, walk in here and take a figure off the shelf that was already taken apart and somebody stuck the bandage in.
Yeah, the dreaded the repack. The repack is
Build the figure.
Yeah.
I know.
no the
It was
re
just, it was incredible. And the people who go in, they take the piece out that they needed, put it back on the shelf. Walmart had absolutely no clue what was going on. And they would just take it back, put it back on the shelf.
There were some Toys R Us's that got wise to it, that they were, no, that's not the right figure. Like they would single it out, or they had employees that would say, how did you let this come back? It's not Spider-Man, that's the Black Cat. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, and they don't. And it takes, what, 2 seconds to look on your phone? And if you bring something to somebody at Target and it doesn't have a price on it, they'll use their Zebra, go to the Target website, and give you a price. So why can't they do the same thing with returns?
So, before we get out of step back, you guys regulate, I assume you do sales posts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we only allow, and a lot of people get upset that we have so many formal rules, but the rules are really meant to make the clean, kind of family-friendly, open environment that we're trying to push forward. So you're only allowed one sales post per day. Now that doesn't mean that you can't put 100 items in one post, but it means don't put 30 different things in a row as 30 different posts, because it clogs up people's feed and then they get upset. After 90 days, it's open rate. Whatever the internet dictates, and only because we're in a panel, best way to find out what something costs is go on eBay, type it in, go to the sold listings, and however much it sold for on average in the last 3 months is roughly what it's worth. But then also remember that on eBay, you're paying a 10 to 15% markup. So if you're just buying it from somebody, you may want to go back to them and try to get the difference that they're not getting. And that's why so many people are on the Facebook group, because they do not want to pay those fees that eBay charges. Back to the Target thing, and I think just the scalping thing in general, is that now even, I make, what, $10, $12 an hour if I work at Target. People are realizing that some of these items that are coming in can get turned for 5 or 10 times what it actually costs. So they get like the brand new, 12-inch Thanos pop, and all of a sudden you're like, I never hit my store. Well, in a lot of cases, if they're not watching, the actual employees themselves have figured it out and take the items that they know are worth money. They know that when they see the little sticker that says Chase or variant, that's most likely made or worth something extra, and they pull it aside. And we bust up people's stashes all the time. So if you're working at a store and you hit a pop because you're going to go back and buy it because they won't let you buy it while you're on shift, not only are we going to take it and put it back where it's supposed to be, we're going to leave a little AFJ sticker. And we've got admins across the United States, so we literally will leave you a note and go, we caught you, and a little AFJ sticker. and we did it. Unfortunately, we don't get to do it anymore.
Yeah, we did it at Toys R Us.
Yeah.
But Toys R Us was, people would put it under the bottom shelf. And if you didn't know this, you'd never think about it. So when
What
they,
do we find?
oh,
Find most recently.
we found basically anything that was in short supply. That's what people, because hey, maybe I can't buy them all right now, so I'm going to put 2 underneath here and then come back and get it later. We've got a great admin, Rick, who went to every Target in basically like Eastern Pennsylvania, Toys R Us, in Eastern Pennsylvania, and went to every store, popped every single bottom, took the pictures of what he found, left the stickers, and and bought whatever he could that was worth it. But sometimes you pop, we were popping bottoms and got stuff that was 10. And I love to say pop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's just something about them.
I used to go with Jared to Toys R Us. They had these compartments up on top.
Yeah.
Yep. You just open up the compartment.
Yep.
And what used to put the excess in the drawer. Kids that worked in Toys R Us and knew what the figure was. They would pick it from back. And Jared couldn't reach it. So I was tall as he was. So I used to get up on the bottom shelf. See that, try to get it back.
Did it many times.
Grab the stuff. I didn't want either. So that's one of the things about scouting, fishing, trolling. Very focused on.
Oh yeah, Papa Junkie doesn't miss it. He'll catch it, and then I'll get an email. Hey, and this guy's got to go, and then that's it. He's out.
This guy's down.
I tried once or twice to tell that work they hey, your sighting's not right. A week later, it's back.
Mhm.
On your,
Yeah, so I gave up.
Yeah, well that's they don't listen. Unfortunately, they don't get anything extra for doing it, and they have a system like most of these big box distribution chains have a system that say, here's your allocation each month for what we're going to buy for Black Series figures, and until that allotment has been sold, they can't get new figures in the stores. So you might be going to the same Target and saying the same thing for over a year because they couldn't sell whatever the most unpopular figure was that, from the latest Star Wars or Marvel Legends.
Universe.
And so it sits there and they don't mark it down quick enough. So all of a sudden you're there, it's there, and that's one of the things that you could probably help credit the downfall of Toys R Us, which is, other than some bad business practices, they never clearance their items to a point where you could go and buy an action figure of like a DC multiverse at $5 and below for $5. Then you'd go to Toys R Us and it would still be full retail. And that's one of the things that the website and the Facebook group and what we do. We try to go once or twice a week if we can, hit a Target or a GameStop, show people what's new, but let people know it's out there. So once stuff starts hitting the shelves, people are going to they're going to go, hey, saw this, found this in Hamilton, New Jersey. And then somebody's going to say, hey, what's the UPC? So then they can go, they take that actual barcode, and there's websites called BrickSeek and a few other ones that let you go in and say, okay, this one is at my Walmart. But you're going to experience what we've all experienced is you show up at the Walmart and you go, hey, I'm looking for this figure, I don't see it on the shelf. They don't have it. If anybody if it's not on the shelf, you've got to find that one person who's willing to help you, because they'll just walk in the back, have a cup of coffee, come out and go, yeah, it's definitely not here.
I don't know if you've dealt with this, but if you go to Target and you give them a UPC number, they're just going to give you a general UPC of, I want the Star Wars Black Series figure, or I want Han Solo. And they're like, okay, so you give them the number, and they say, yeah, we have 12 of them. And then they show you all 12, and it's everybody else but Han Solo, because there's just a general UPC number for that product. And that's something that they have to change, because you get irate mothers, and I, unfortunately, or fortunately, I worked at Target, and we would get irate mothers and saying, I just looked on Brick Mortar, Brick Seeker, and you have this. It was some sort of video game toy. It was like an axe. It was a sword or diamond something or other. And this woman was Minecraft sword. Thank you. And she was yelling at me, and I'm like, "You're giving me the UPC. It says we have 6. Here's all 6 of the swords that we have. It's not the one you want." I said, "That's just the way our system works. I can't help you any more than that." So it's part of the system that we're trying to change and get people to listen to us is saying, there's an industry for this, there's buyers for this, you need to update your products. You're just going to put them out there. I relate it to as they're like grocery stores. You wouldn't have apples, the same apple sitting on the shelf for 6 months. They'd be rotten. Well, if a movie bombs, like the girls' Ghostbuster movie, those toys, they went on sale really quick, even before the movie came out.
I've got 2 sets.
So, Target I was at was smart enough to put those on sale, but when you see Gin Urso 22 months later, you're like, why is this still here?
But so Gin Urso is another kind of great thing that comes out of having 40,000 collectors in one place that they can connect from their phone. So Gin Urso goes on clearance at Target for 3 cents. You can't Walmart. Sorry. You can't buy these things for even at $5 and below or a yard sale for $2 or $3 anymore. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, somebody comes, makes a post in AFJ, and then it's a mad rush. Because who wouldn't buy 10 of them at 3 cents?
I have one downstairs if you want to say.
And so you
I don't agree if I have my 3 cent Gin Urso.
You'll see like pictures of people that bought like 2 or 3 of them, and then they show the receipt at 3 cents.
That's always the proof. Like people want to see. I don't believe it. Show me the receipt, and then you see it. You're like, oh my god, he bought 22 of them for 3 cents a piece.
And so
seeing those piles of Black Series figures, that was great. What did you do with all that?
There was a certain Black Series TIE Fighter that was about $150 retail. And it went down, and they didn't always hit everywhere. And Kmart put it for sale online. They must have messed up, but
$2.12.
$2.12. So you saw over the next 2 days. First people went, Kmart's still around. So then they found they found their closest Kmart. They showed up. Or I'm sorry, my bad. First they went Kmart, then they went to Walmart because guess what? Walmart, Best Buy, Target, they all price match Kmart. So as a collector, every dollar that you save is another figure. And if you could save a couple here or a couple there, again, would I do that to my local comic book shop? Absolutely not. I'd walk up to the guy, and I've done it before. I've been in a store, and the guy had a figure that, for some reason, has quadrupled in value for just whatever it is, lack of it being online or whatever. And I went, hey, for what it's worth, man, you could probably get that 3 times as much. Am I going to do that for Walmart? No, absolutely not. I'm going to buy 4 or 5 of the Black Series TIE Fighters, and then I'm going to sell them at what's a reasonable value, and then I'm going to use that money to buy more plastic. So that's the thing. I mean, any little tip or trick or something that you come across, until I started working with him and met Jarrett, I didn't have a person that I knew in the same state that I could talk to about my collecting habit. And to be honest, most people would literally laugh or go, that's weird. I don't get that.
Yeah, that's something we've had with the community, that we've been at cons and just walking around, and we wear the shirts and the hats, and people want to meet up with us because they don't really have that friend who are like, oh my god, I got this Black Series figure, and I got this one and that one, and I only paid $3 a piece. And they, people don't understand that. Our parents don't understand it. Well, our parents do.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I can't believe the amount of people as Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore.
Yeah, the Australians we're hearing more and more from them, which is weird, but it seems as if they get the figures much later than everybody else. And now Amazon Australia, I guess, is just really kicking in. And the Amazon there has really been supplying. So we've been seeing people post pictures of, hey, I got these, 4 Black Series figures, and you're like, I got those like a year ago, and they're just getting them now. So that's a huge difference. Yes.
Do you think that
Could be. Yeah. It could be.
It could be, and
It could also just be shipping. I mean,
Yeah.
but you think if it comes from Singapore, yeah. But we've had a lot of people lately. There's like some inside guy in Singapore who's getting pictures of these figures in hand before Hasbro's releasing packaging photos, and we're getting pictures of what the front and the back looks like before anybody else does. And we're like, oh, if it's all this today, and you're like, look, it's Singapore. And you're like, oh, okay, great. Like, hey, can you start sending us stuff?
please, we're working on it.
Yeah.
A lot of cases, it totally can be. And now with Toys R Us closing in the United States, Toys R Us is still open in Canada. And so all of a sudden the stuff that they would have been getting at these Toys R Us's is hitting in Canada. And for the longest time, Toys R Us US would get the stuff first. And the Canadian market, because I think we've got about 3,500, maybe 4,000 Canadian members on the site, and they'd be trying to buy it and ship it in because their pricing is also a little bit higher in Canada. Now you see these people in the US going, well, I got it, going absolutely nuts. Like, we don't have that yet. Can you ship this to me? Like, I need this, and how many can you pick up? Like,
Hasbro announced about, I think, 10 exclusives at Toy Fair back in February that were all Toys R Us, and this was February, so we knew that 140 stores were going to close across the country. I think even before they announced that the stores in England were going to close, and then all of a sudden they're all closing, and they're all going, wait, what? So where does the Killmonger and Agent Ross figure go? And last week we had a special Black Series Toys R Us exclusive of Captain Phasma that all the Canadians were waving in our faces, like healthcare. And we're just like, oh my God, where can I get that Captain Phasma? I really need that Captain Phasma.
It was funny because nobody even knew it was coming out. So at first,
we thought
everybody's posts were, check out this custom. And they were like, no, it's real. And so, you saw people arguing that looks like a custom box, and all these really just out, you never think of somebody.
It's scary that you can do all of those things now. You could custom the figure, print the box, get everything done to look as real as possible, and you can really fool some people sometimes. Well, there's a lot of, the fake Marvel Legends we've been seeing coming out of Hong Kong that are like Marvel, and it's Marvel, and it's an iron
Iron Spider.
It's an iron spider with the legs that we all wanted but didn't get, and now there's some guy over in Hong Kong making them off the molds. So it's a changing world.
Yeah, well, and so another one of the things we try to do with our lives is that most of the YouTube reviewers and stuff like that, they get the stuff for free, and they're they don't have a lot of negative to say, which is fine. If you give it to us for free, we're gonna give it away. We're not keeping the stuff that comes into us.
Unless it's a DC statue.
You had the colonial,
Okay.
so those were cool. I
Nobody
kept
else can
those.
have that.
But 9 times out of 10, thanks, Evan.
You're welcome.
We'll do at least a giveaway or two a week. So if you're on the group and we'll try to advertise them about a day or two in advance if we can. It's really easy to win. There's maybe only 30 or 40 people watching the lives while they're actually happening.
Yeah. And if we're doing a Batman thing, just have some sort of obscure Batman trivia question for you to win this.
Bob is going to ask you,
and it'll be who played Commissioner Gordon on the '66 Batman TV series, and all of a sudden, boom, you just won a $60 statue, just because you can type really fast.
We did we try to cover all the big days, so we did a Ghostbusters Day giveaway where we assembled, I don't know if anybody knows, but it's the Diamond Select had a Build-A-Figure rooftop. So it's the rooftop from the first movie. We reviewed 15 figures, built the rooftop, and gave away 22 different things that day. And some of them were lots of 3 or 4. So if you pay attention, you want a chance to win some free toys, if we can help out, it's not bad. And hey, if you just say something funny or make fun of Evan in the live, you're probably going to get a free shirt. I mean, it's really easy.
Generally, the people who make fun of me get the most love.
Well, Evan is our local our local millennial. So what we'll do is he writes a column for us called The Noob. So we have him watch stuff from our childhood that we love, and he doesn't get it at all. So he'll write an honest review, and then he'll get riled up by about 20 or 30 people, like his review for Batman, Keaton Batman.
Yeah,
that was
Batman '89.
It was okay.
Yeah.
So
it was okay. It went okay.
That's, we try to have as much fun as we can with this. We love action figures. We have a passion for it. The group isn't just action figures. It's grown to comics, video games, pretty much anything that if you're going to collect it and you want to talk to other people about it, that's, what we're here for. How can we help you? How do we continue, to make things easier for you in what you do? This year has been a shift for us because we were mostly just a Facebook group, and then unfortunately our founder passed away, and we tried to do what we could to push forward. So you'll see us try different things. It might be a live review, or it might be Evan talking to the camera for a few minutes about like video games, and then nobody watches it. We make fun of them.
Real sad.
Or if something happens, we have the ability to get the photo up before other people, because most of the time it hits in our group. Because if you're a collector, you've probably heard of us or ended up in the group.
Yeah, we did a eBay. I guess we watched an eBay sale of a Mezco 112 Batman that they gave away because it was, what did it go for, like $3,000? $6,500. So we were literally counting down the minutes just to see how high this toy would go. We couldn't believe how many people were watching and interacting, or they could have just watched themselves. But we were doing like a live commentary going, I can't believe it just hit, $6,500. And it was a toy that, well, we had two of them in the office, so we were also kind of curious to see what its value would be. So we try to keep it light and fun and, family oriented. And
you should be able to grab your phone and sit with your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, and whoever, and go through and go, hey, check out, all this stuff. And I didn't realize until I really got into this how many people are into toy photography. So there are just some accounts that all they do is take their action figures out of the box, which hurts me to say because I'm one of those ones that it has to stay in the box. But they take it out and they go out into fields and freaking sand and in the forest and take these really amazing figures or pictures with action figures, and you're like, damn, that's really cool.
And make up these dioramas.
Oh yeah.
It gives you a whole other reason to actually have it and take it out of the box. You're like, oh, well, I can do that. I have a camera on my phone. Of
Don't
course.
do that. Don't
It's
do
great.
that. Keep it in the.
That's what Instagram is
Are
for.
we gonna just fight now?
We're not gonna.
We've been teasing.
No,
we've been
we're
teasing
not
this
gonna have.
fight
We're not
for
gonna have the fight.
months.
Why? Because it should stay in the box. But so I mean that's
You
it.
think that?